Hey guys, it's time for August's Q&A. So we have 9 questions this month from you guys that we're going to answer that can be Star Wars related or not. So let's kick it off.
9. Okay. One for every episode.
Nice. Well done, John. The first question is from Len Brown. And he asks, what is your favorite John Hughes movie? James. Favorite John Hughes movie?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Are you serious?
No, they just said they advertised it as a John Hughes movie. But I don't know. You'd have to name them all for me because I don't really think about it that often. But I do know that I like The Breakfast Club, which is
nice.
One of his, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's your choice, John.
Did he do Home Alone?
He wrote Home Alone.
Yeah, then that's my favorite John Hughes movie. I love Home Alone.
Which is very interesting because he also wrote the later ones too, like the weird ones with the random kids.
I like Home Alone 2, also the one where he's in New York.
You know,
I would have to say
I like Home Alone 2.
Also,
Home Alone is great, and that would be my pick. But to be a little different, I'll probably pick Ferris Bueller's Day Off because I really love that movie.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I have to admit something.
Gosh,
what?
See, I don't know him.
I only like the first 20 minutes of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then when they actually start having their day off, I don't like it anymore. Like I like when he's. I like when he's screwing with Rooney and doing the prank phone calls, and he's got Cameron like, Rooney, you know, like that stuff. Yeah. But then when they're actually doing the stuff, I'm like, this is boring.
So the funniest thing about
my son's upset about that. He likes Ferris Bueller.
It's okay. The funniest thing about our choices, John, is that the 2 phrases that I constantly say from movies are woof and Bueller, all the time.
Yes, that is true. Very true.
All the time. All right, next is from Cal Baker, and he says, I know Lacey works in setting up many conventions. What do John and James do for work? Plot twist, I do not do that anymore. I'm actually a video project manager. But, John, what do you do for a living?
Yikes, awkward.
Why is that awkward? That change happened like 7 months ago.
Oh, okay. What do I do for a living? I am in publishing production management. So I run the production of publishing for academic books and things like that for major universities and like Ivy League universities.
James?
Oh, actually, maybe Christmas Vacation.
Did you just Google that?
Because I told you I didn't know the
good
movies. I had
a little full.
What do I do? Oh, I work for a speaker company. I do social media and YouTube and stuff like that. So actually, it's kind of funny because a lot of the things that I learn from the podcast, like how can I grow the podcast, I end up using at work and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So,
and he used to be a heavy metal rock star.
That's not true.
Oh, it's a rumor. It's like, yo, Kanye, what up, dude?
Yeah.
Next is Len Brown again. Hi, Len.
Len.
He asks, who is your celebrity hall pass? And then he put in parentheses, Lacey, not Adam Driver.
I actually
How'd
have
you know
one.
It was going to be him? It's not him. Yeah, go ahead.
So my wife and I agreed. She gets Charlie Hunnam, and I get Daisy Ridley.
Poor Daisy Ridley.
How dare you? I mean, it's never going to happen, but maybe next celebration or something. We'll see. The mood might strike. You never know.
I don't have this.
James doesn't have a hall pass.
No.
Who would be it's changed over time.
Is that what it's called? I know they did the movie that.
Yeah, it's a hall pass. It's like who's your freebie that would be forgivable?
Didn't they call it something different in the list or in Friends? It was just like
I never watched Friends.
List or something.
It was called a list. I think.
Surprisingly, it wouldn't be Adam Driver. Mine wouldn't be Adam Driver.
Because he's not that good looking.
No, just because I'm not attracted to him in that way. I don't know who'd mine be. It was Chris Pratt for. Did you just make a face?
Both me and John were like looking at the camera, gym style.
I don't know who mine would be. It was Chris Pratt for a while, but then he like dumped his wife and kid for like some young Schwarzenegger girl.
Well, hold on. We don't know what really happened, so let's not turn into gossip queens on this podcast.
I'm not being a gossip queen. I'm just assuming things, and that's why he.
Did you see it on a magazine in the aisle at the grocery store?
No.
Oh, okay.
I saw it on his own Instagram, but yeah, enjoy.
He's like, I don't.
Probably Chris Evans. Chris Evans is so.
Chris Evans
hot.
that's such a boring pick. Are you serious?
He's so hot.
Oh my god.
Daisy Ridley's a pretty boring pick.
Chris Evans probably cuts his pizza with a fork and knife. Like, get out of here.
Do you not like him because he's from Boston?
I didn't even know that.
Is he from Boston? No, he's from New Jersey. What am I talking about?
I don't know. I don't dislike Chris Evans, but he just looks like he looks stock to me. Like, oh, Chris Evans. Like, he has no personality to his look. You know what I mean?
I like Chris Evans.
He's probably very boring to hall pass with. Anyway.
He's like the golden retriever of people. So why don't you calm down?
Okay.
Golden retriever of people.
Chris Pratt is a total scumbag, but Chris Evans is a golden
I said as of recently.
Oh.
If they remade Homeward Bound, Chris Evans would be
the lead role.
Would be Shadow, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt would be Chance.
Right.
And then I don't know who would be Sassy.
Lacey would be the cat.
Yeah.
What?
Do we have another question?
Yeah. I got distracted because I like really started thinking about that question. Mark at Dekina Vacans said, one day your kids will grow up and look back on these TRB podcasts. What do you hope they take away from that? John?
That Hoey had it first.
Oh.
No, I don't know that. At one time, I was younger. I don't know. I don't know if one thing to take away. I don't even know if my son's gonna like. He's turning 1 in a few days. I don't know if he's gonna even like Star Wars. So I need to get to know him better and like see what his likes are, and then see if he would be interested in looking back and seeing what we did here. But hopefully we're still podcasting when he's a little older. Can you be old and podcast? Is that a thing?
Yes, you can be old and do anything.
All right. We're in 2 decades. Lock it up.
You can't be old and be young.
That's true.
I knew you were going to say something like that. As soon as I said that, I was like, James is going to say something stupid to knock this. Go ahead, James.
I don't know. I never really thought about him watching the show. I've thought about him listening to the band music, but I've never really thought about him watching the show.
Oh, I remember you talking about, you're curious to see like what he's going to think about what you did with the band. Because that's a cool thing, you know? It's like when my dad was in a rock and roll band.
I think like at the end of the day, like while it may be like in a certain, I don't know, time period, like a time capsule kind of thing, like you can still look back at like music from the 70s and 80s and be like, oh, I get this. Like I get why it was popular at a certain time or something. But so I don't know, maybe he'll find interest in it in that degree, but I don't know why. I'd rather him listen to music that's current.
I just hope my son doesn't cut his pizza with a fork and knife. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hopefully Kanye's still doing
If he looks
stuff.
like Chris Evans, he can do whatever he wants, John. I don't have children, so I'll answer this question if I have children.
What will your cat think?
Oh, stop. I might have kids eventually, just not right now. It's not rare. It's a silly thing to say. Your cats. Everyone on this podcast is starting to think I'm a cat lady. I am not a cat lady. I just have cats. All right. Back to the question that was originally asked. What will my kids think? I don't know what my kids will think. I have a feeling they'll make fun of a lot of my selfies. But besides that, I don't know what they would say. It would be kind of funny if I had a girl and you guys have boys and then they make their own podcast and they're called TRB The Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
The show's called Star Wars Kids.
TRB kids.
Okay, next is Jetta. Hi, Jetta. She asks, who's the cook in the house? I'll start. I am. John.
Kathleen is. Although I man the grill. And fun story, I forgot to clean it the other day. You know, you got to brush the grease off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I slapped the burgers on. A little bit of a fire. And to dump some water on it.
You dumped water on a
you
grill?
don't do that. You do salt.
Yeah.
All we had at the
idea.
time, because the fire extinguisher was
not
used
all you had
already.
at the time. Isn't that like
it worked?
Grease fire?
It worked.
What kind of grill is it?
Propane.
Oh. James?
I don't know. I might be wrong, but you might have just done something very dangerous, John.
I'm here.
I know, but like, you're like, oh, we didn't have any matches, so we've used gasoline. Like,
John just did a very Han Solo thing to try to get his
Dude, this is what makes these Q&A videos good. When you find out that, you know, I almost died. And when I thought I was doing something good.
No, you use like salt. Or you close the lid.
I didn't have salt. Yes, I tried all those things. Trust me. It was a fire. I dumped water on it and it went out. Done.
Yeah, it would definitely be my wife that cooks way more often than I do. But overall, I actually think we like order food more often than we make
James,
food.
Who's your favorite cook out of these two options? Chipotle or Rachel?
Oh, Chipotle.
Okay, there you go.
I used to be a terrible cook. I've gotten very good.
Mm-hmm. You haven't offered to cook for me yet. I gotta try a meal.
The other thing too is like Rachel doesn't.
What do you like?
Cook,
You like
she
ravioli.
makes.
What?
Does that make sense? Like she doesn't cook. Like she makes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I cook. I made a meatloaf from scratch. It's delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. Next is Neil. Hi, Neil. Neil Lowry.
Oh, okay. We have two Neils, so you have to clarify.
Oh, I'm sorry, Neil. Positivity, Neil. He said, do your families buy Star Wars presents for you at birthday and Christmas? I guess I'll start because there's a large amount of stuff behind me. The answer is yes. Anybody that knows me as a human being buys me Star Wars things. Like to the point that if they see something, they'll get it and then they'll give it to me. And I have a pile of stuff that I don't know what to do with because I'm like, I already have 17 R2-D2 mixing cup sets. Yeah, it's like everyone's go-to. When I'm like, can you just get me a Home Goods gift card? And then they end up getting me Star Wars stuff, which, I mean, it's complaining about gifts, but there's only so many things you can take.
Yeah, I think everybody has that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody gets you don't know what to get my wife, get her something horse related. You know, it's just
she's a horse girl.
And it's just
I think they own
she
horses
says
or
the
something.
same thing. Yeah, we have a horse. Yeah,
Nice.
she has a horse. I don't have a horse. Like,
wait,
we
didn't you
gotta
say
clarify that
what's the
sometime.
horse's name again? It was something like
Baney?
Oh, that's right. Storm's coming, Annie. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Crush that joke at the time. Remember that?
I forget what her. They have real names and then barn names.
Mhm.
Like the one horse that she used to ride was named Amy, but her real name is Miami. But they all have like those longer names, but then they just call them like a short version. I can't remember what Annie said. Oh, I think it's no, never mind. I forget. It doesn't matter. Yeah, mine's Star Wars too, obviously. Like everybody's like, oh, look, I really like Star Wars. It's like the interesting fact about someone, like, oh, he really likes Star Wars.
All the cards I get are Star Wars related. Everything is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everything. The other thing too, not just gifts. Everyone always comes up to me and they're like, did you hear this? Or did you see this? And it's always like 2 weeks after when I've heard something. And I'm like, yes.
I had someone ask me if I heard that they're making a Kenobi series. I was like, yeah, I think I heard something about that. My
I'm
wife,
like, you only know about that because I know about that.
No, just like I always like I never say like, yeah, I already saw that meme, or I'm always like, oh, cool, you know, because
right, you have to play into it.
Yeah, you don't want them to be like, oh, well, excuse me, you know. But my wife got me. I don't know if you guys watch the rumor reviews and the other videos where I put that lit up Star Wars logo sign. She got me that for my birthday from Etsy, I think. And every once in a while I do get Star Wars stuff, but I'm not a big collectibles guy. So but like posters and that sort of thing. But yeah, people, if they can't think of anything to get me, it's either a gift card or they try to get something, Star Wars related.
That's how I end up with some of this stuff, is because people are like, what to get you? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, if I had infinite money, I probably would buy all the Black Series characters, just
Right,
because
right.
they're cool.
Yeah.
So I just end up being like, I don't know, you could get me like one of these Black Series characters. That's something. It's a nice round, like $20.
Speaking of Black Series, the next question comes from David King. Hi, David. And he asks, what was the coolest Star Wars toy / thing that you got as a kid? James, I'm going to have you go first.
My brother had a lot of hand-me-down stuff. He's 12 years older than I was, so he was like in the height of Star Wars. And I always played with, I had a Millennium Falcon and a Snowspeeder. And both of the pieces were missing, like every piece but the main piece practically. So like the Snowspeeder, I don't think had like the raising cockpit piece. It just was open. And then there was like battery thing on the side, but like it was just on the top and always open. And it was just always had 3 missing AA batteries.
Yeah.
I would play with it, Yeah, I would say that's probably like my biggest childhood memory of Star Wars toys is those 2 ones. I don't even know if I saw them. They might have gotten sold in a garage sale or something.
John?
I would say probably this guy. Darth Vader mask.
That's from when you were a kid?
That.
A long time ago.
Weird. Cool.
Yeah, man. I was probably, I don't know, like 11, maybe.
Aww.
And then also, like, I don't know if you guys remember the electronic lightsabers that, before like the cool ones, the Force effects, they had the ones that had collapsed into it.
They still have those, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
ones. Like those were like the big like new thing, and it was like they had the Vader one, and I remember I got the Vader one, and I had wanted a Luke one, but I think my mom said they were all out, and they had one Vader left, and then I wound up getting the mask, and it turned out I became a big Vader fan due to collectible selections on the shelves, I guess. But yeah, I guess pretty much those types of things. I did have a Falcon too, which was cool. But you're right, James. Sometimes you lose, like the door falls off, and you're like, it's ruined forever. Like so many parts.
I remember, so I got that Monopoly episode 1. I like begged for that. I got it for Christmas. It was a big deal for me. But I also remember having like, this is like a 90s thing. They're called like Polly Pockets. They're like these containers that have little itty bitty pieces, choke hazard inside. And I had one that was C-3PO that opened up to Jabba's palace. So it had Jabba and it had like all these little like areas that you could put people in. It came with Luke and
that's cool.
Yeah. I remember playing with that a lot.
Polly Pocket was the girls version, and then Mighty Max was the boys version.
Well, this was probably a Mighty Max. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying it was those were those 2, and then they probably had like offshoots of other brands for sure.
Yeah. I just remember how small the pieces were, and like as soon as you lost one piece, you were like, ugh. And then you lost 2 pieces, and then all that was left was Jabba because he was the biggest piece. So I was like, well, I have this empty container with Jabba. So, next is Len again. Len asking all the questions this month. He asks, favorite day as a kid. I love all these kid questions. Christmas, birthday, or last day of school? John, I'm going to have you go first. Christmas, birthday, last day of school.
Probably Christmas. Yeah, I think Christmas. I had some good birthdays too, but because my birthday is around Halloween, so my mom would sometimes do like costume parties for me.
Ooh, fun. I always wanted my birthday on Halloween.
Yeah, so those were fun, but I consistently though I'd say probably Christmas, especially when you're into the whole Santa thing and that sort of deal. But yeah, Christmas.
Yeah, same for me. I it's not that I had bad birthdays. I don't know. I don't really think about birthdays so much. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get a couple presents when I get home.
And your birthday's like
But,
right
like-
before Christmas too.
But Christmas is like, yeah, that too.
When's your birthday?
December 12th. So it's like,
Oh.
once you get into like middle school, high school, and your friends are old enough to like get you something, then they like always get you the birthday / Christmas present. And
here's
you're
left
right
Twix,
at that age
and
where
here's
you
right
actually
Twix.
like care.
Happy
Like
birthday,
today,
dude.
I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh, thanks,
Yeah.
But back then, you're like, everybody else in the world has to get you 2 presents.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I the person that I somehow get wrapped into this 1 present deal?
Yeah.
I'm getting you 0 presents if that makes you feel any better. Okay.
Well, good.
So last day of school would definitely not be my favorite because I loved school growing up. I like actually miss going to school. I loved it. I loved school. Birthday. So it was really funny. My birthday is February 19th. So it came around Valentine's Day. So I kind of get lumped into that 2 gift thing, James, if it was like a boyfriend. But the other thing was like every cool kid in my grade had their birthday right before mine. So I always got forgotten. So, and my birthday fell on President's Day. So it was always a day off. So I never had birthday at school. So it sucked. I hate birthdays. So I'm going to pick Christmas because Christmas is fun. And I love Christmas. Okay. Last question is Christian Morales, who says, if you had the opportunity to write or script a Star Wars comic, what story would you create? James, I'm going to start with you because you're a big comic guy. I like the comics.
Oh man, that's tough. Probably
It's always-
Obi-Wan sitting in the desert.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
This is a tough question for me, at least, because I'd like to think I'm creative, but I'm not that creative to like come up with my own story of what these characters would do, because I feel like
if given some more time, I'd really like to come up with something, really cool. But the only thing that I can think like right off the top of my head is the whole like Luke, Ahsoka, Ezra circle era.
Right.
Interesting choice.
John?
I would write the death of Ahsoka Tano.
You're so
Like,
I mean, that's
mean.
like
you remember the
it's-
death of Superman series and how popular that was? I would do it something where like that she's dying, but let's see how she got there. And I make it cool, and then no one would ever be able to bring her back or say she's coming to live action, and we wouldn't have to deal with those questions anymore, and she'd be dead.
On that note, I honestly don't know what I would write. I'd probably write.
Someone's mad at me, I know, but
I'd probably write something about Luke going on a mission after Return of the Jedi, because that kind of leaves it wide open with some type of adventure he could go on I wouldn't feel like I was ruining a story somewhere, because that would be like my greatest fear, is that someone would be offended by whatever I decided to write.
Not John.
No.
Yeah.
It would be I would make sure it was respectful, She'd probably go out fighting.
Well, guys,
There you go.
that's it for August.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the last
Hey,
question.
I love everybody.
If you want to be in next month's, put your question below, or just wait for the post later in September. I can't believe it's already September.
I need to clarify something.
Okay.
You can cut pizza with a fork and knife if it's Sicilian pizza, like the thick, Sicilian. Regular slices. Come on, guys.
Can I tell you something interesting? My husband only eats pizza with a fork and a knife.
Oh no, I'm ruining everything for everybody.
So Matt, who's never going to watch this,
good.
would be very offended.
Yeah, tell Matt not to sign up for Patreon this month.
My favorite thing is, guys, I'll ask Matt, I'll be like, hey, did you watch this week's? He's like, no. And actually, guys, he started watching Star Trek this week. And he's now obsessed with Star Trek.
Oh my god.
I kid you not. He watches it nonstop. And I said, this is the biggest betrayal you could have bestowed upon me.
Well, I know
Can't
some
make
of
this
our
up, folks.
Yeah, some of you out there like Star Trek. I know that, but
I hate Star Trek. So anyway, thanks so much, guys, for being patrons. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this Q&A and learned a little bit more about us. Like, I hate birthdays. John hates Ahsoka and people eating pizza with a fork and knife. James doesn't really know a lot about John Hughes movies. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Okay, bye.
See ya.